What is up, guys? Delboy here. I wasn't even going to make a video for this fight, but I thought I will anyway. You know, Lawrence Okolie defeats Matty Askin by a unanimous decision. The fight itself was an absolute eyesore. It was ugly, it was dull, it was boring, it was horrible to watch. And Lawrence Okolie's tactics were quite frankly disgraceful. He should have been disqualified. The fact he won that fight to me is it's a travesty. You know, he was awful. You know, holding, mauling, you know, excessively, really bad. This was one of the worst cases of it I can remember. To me, this was near the levels of Klitschko versus Povetkin. It was that bad. And at least Klitschko actually landed some good shots and hurt Povetkin. You know, Okolie landed a couple of shots, but, you know, it was all mauling and holding. It was terrible. You know, the fact of the matter is, Okolie should have been disqualified. And most of it was all his fault. He was the guy who was kind of... let's say, for example, he'd throw a right hand, he'd fall in, and then he'd automatically hold. Anytime Matty Askin's got close to him, just, you know, using those long arms to tie him up. You know, most of it was always initiated by Lawrence Okolie. It's not even like the Klitschko-Povetkin fight where Povetkin at some points was actually coming in really low. Matty Askins wasn't doing that, you know. Okolie just kept on holding for dear life. He kept on trying to smother Matty Askin, and he really neutralised him by cheating, as far as I'm concerned. He actually had 3 points deducted in this fight. As I say, should have been disqualified. Absolute garbage. And going forward, I think this is going to do Lawrence Okolie a lot of damage in terms of his profile, in terms of his marketability, because, I mean, that's the second time that's happened now. It also happened in the Isaac Chamberlain fight. I think people actually forgave him for that one because I think they gave him the benefit of the doubt because it was his first big fight. He was headlining at the O2 at a very early stage in his career. You know, Isaac Chamberlain himself has an awkward style. I think people gave him the benefit of the doubt. But for this to happen again and for it to be even worse, you know, it's not going to do Lawrence Okolie any good whatsoever. You know, to me, the only positive for Lawrence Okolie is the fact that he actually escaped with a win. That's the only positive, and maybe actually being able now to look back on that fight and looking at where you can improve. You need to improve on that, you know. Lawrence Okolie, he needs to figure out how to keep range more effectively. You know, how to keep people at the end of his punches, because that's where Lawrence Okolie's best, when he's got you behind his jab and when he looks for that right hand counter down the pipe. That's when Lawrence Okolie to me is at his best. To me, he's best at range. When a fighter actually gets close to him, he seems to panic. It seems like he doesn't know what to do. It seems like he's got no clue on how to fight on the inside. He needs to improve on that, you know. You know, he needs to know how to effectively defend himself on the inside without fouling, and also to get some work off on the inside. I know it's hard for a big long guy like that, but you know, you can still make some improvements. And if he can't actually improve his inside game, he needs to work out how to keep it at range more effectively. You know, I think there's a good boxer inside Lawrence Okolie, I really do. I think he does have good attributes. I think he's got a good right hand when he uses it, when he keeps range. It's got power behind it, it's quick, he can counter punch with that right hand. He's got a decent jab as well when he uses it. You know, in the Watkins fight, I felt the jab was good. You know, I think the ingredients are there with Lawrence Okolie. I think there is a good boxer there, but I think it's going to take a really good coach to get it out of him. You know, I'm not going to write him off. Like I said, I was impressed with the improvements he made in the Watkins fight. Maybe it was just a kind style matchup, but I stand by what I say. I still think there's a good boxer there. I still think there's a potentially good fighter there. You know, if the right coach gets behind him and nurtures him and kind of irons out some of those raw, ungainly tactics. But yeah, it was a disgrace. He should have been disqualified. Maybe it would have been better if he was disqualified, because he would have actually had to make the improvements then. Maybe as he's gotten away with it, maybe he'll try it again. Maybe it won't kind of make him improve on that area. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he actually does try to work on the inside and improve that area of his game, because like I said, I do genuinely think that there is a good fighter in there. Where does he go from here? Listen, he's been matched quite tough for a guy who didn't really have a big amateur background. He has been matched quite tough. You know, Matty Askin was a good British champion. Luke Watkins, undefeated Commonwealth champion. Isaac Chamberlain, undefeated prospect, awkward. He's been matched tough in the last 3 fights. I think in his next fight, somebody like Okolie can match though. Somebody who's kind of like an English level fighter. I think that's the type of fight he needs next. I think they should actually slow the brakes a little bit with Lawrence Okolie. I think it's going to take longer than they think. But that's my opinion. Not a great fight. Horrible to watch. Okolie should have been disqualified. Askin should still be the British champion. In fact, I would say Askin should probably appeal to the British Boxing Board of Control. But how often do these appeals go anywhere? So it's probably not even worth it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the fight. Terrible, awful, garbage. It was what it was. Peace.